And it's 3 p.m. here in Accra. You're watching The Pulse on the Joy News channel. Our top story this hour, if you own a property in parts of Adenta, Dringano, and also the Laba-Aleshi area, including Medina and its surrounding communities here in Accra, you need to prepare to atone your tenancy with a new owner. We'll have details coming up shortly as the Supreme Court is asking the Lands Commission to expunge all registration and certificates issued to one of the families in the area of a 72,000-acre land. We'll bring you the details shortly here on The Pulse. We're also paying attention to the latest inflation figures, falling significantly to some 26.4% in November 2023 from the high of 35.2% recorded in October this year.
Year-on-year inflation for the month of November 2023 stood at 26.4%. This 26.4% signifies an 8.8 percentage point drop relative to the rate of inflation that was recorded for the same for October 2020.
And that's why we're asking the questions about the key driving factors of these figures here on The Pulse. And later as well in this bulletin, we're taking you to Parliament, where the minority there is taking on the Electricity Company of Ghana over its controversial donation of some 200 motorbikes to the Ghana Police Service.
With this particular donation, ECG has no business taking over the responsibility of the state to provide logistics for Ghana Police.
More about the concerns of the minority shortly. It's coming up here on The Pulse, brought to you by Global Communities Digni Lu Affordable Safe Sanitation. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and at myjoyonline.com. I'm Blessed Sugam. Welcome to The Pulse. About getting into the terms of that ruling, but if you own a property in Adenta, Dringano, Laba-Aleshi, Medina, and also the surrounding communities here in Accra, you need to prepare to atone actually for the tenancy with a new owner or face the consequences. This is because the Supreme Court has declared that the family which sold the land did not own the property. The court has now given the right of ownership to one boy family and other relevant families, which will now engage all those who bought the lands from the family and contention. Is the reason for which I want to bring in, of course, one man who was in court for us, monitoring all of the conversation, Richard Kojinyako, who's joining us with the latest ruling. And of course, this has been going round on social media, with many asking questions about the implication of this very ruling. But for the benefit of those who are even about to hear of this latest ruling for now, give us a background of what transpired today in court and why the court, presided over by the Chief Justice itself, is coming to this determination.
Well, so the genesis of this case dates back to the 1966, when the state compulsorily acquired some pieces of land, 25 acres. And then when the state acquires a piece of land like that under the compulsory acquisition, compensations have to be paid. And so the compensation claims I mean, several groups started claiming that I am the one that ought to get the compensation and all of that. So it led to a court action. And so there were claims, counterclaims. And then in 1982, there was a judgment. The judgment, there was an appeal. So the appeals from one court to the other led us to this very instant case where they sought release from the Supreme Court, indicating because one of the families asserted and claimed ownership of that particular piece of land, and so they went into execution, dispossessing people of that. So the other faction went to court, and so that is where we are now.
And the question as to what exactly the court has decided, many are wondering what it is that the effect will be. But let's get to start with what the court has said about this very case.
Well, so Blessed, the court made 3 declarations. The first one was the pronouncement and declarations made in favor of the numerous families and stools, most of whom are not parties to the instant suit, should be treated merely as declaratory. And that is, the judgment of the court should not open the floodgates for attempt to recover possession and trigger demolition orders, particularly in relation to the grantees of the third defendant's family in respect of some of the lands that pronouncements have so far been made on and not falling within the scope of this judgment. So that is the first one. Right. The second one is all persons who have acquired grants from the Numo Mashi family in areas which by this judgment have been held not to belong to the said first and second defendant and third defendant family, have taken possession of those pieces of land, shall not be dispossessed. So if you're already on it, the court's order is that you should not be dispossessed of your interest. And so they shall, however, atone tenants to the relevant stool or family as per the decision reached by this court. But when they say atonement or atoning tenancy, it simply means that regularize your relationship or formalize your relationship with your new landowner.
The question as to how many communities are being affected and if we're able to list some of them.
Well, so there are about 70 of these communities. You earlier mentioned some of them: Adjiri-Gano, La Bawaleshi, Adenta, Peduase, Ablekuma, and other places. So we have Peduase, Botrase, Mali-Jano, Ayim, Kweman, Otopram, Obom, Damfa, Ochekonfo, Adenkrebi, Brekuso, Kote,
and very far-reaching areas. If you look at the list right now, amounting to some, if we might put it, over 30, in my view. I don't know if that's a correct estimation of some of the communities. 70. So that's even beyond my expectation,
exactly.
Actually. And you have excerpts of that on your screens right now, just giving you an idea of the areas, affected as a result of this very directive. So all of these areas belonging to one community or one owner?
No, not one
right.
owner.
Yeah.
So when the court directed the Lands Commission to expunge the list of the previous ones because they were obtained through fraud, that means that they should get, so it's not only one family. You need to, if you are a land or you own a property there, you need to know who your tenant or your landlord is. Right. And so when you get to the Lands Commission will aid in this process. In fact, it's a process that has just been set in motion, and
it's now unfolding, I believe.
Exactly. And
but that's why perhaps the Lands Commission is also making some, it's now, of course, incumbent on them to make some to take some more action.
Exactly.
Based on what the Supreme Court has said, because we understand that per the proceedings today, the Supreme Court is asking the Lands Commission to take a number of steps.
Exactly. So the steps are expunge the list because it was obtained through fraud. But the second one has to do with people should not be dispossessed of their investment or property on that particular. So when we spoke with the legal experts in land, they indicated that if you own, for instance, a property there, do not quiver, do not be shaken.
You're not necessarily losing that.
Exactly. But it is just like you, Blessed. You were my old landlord. Right. Now a decision has come that you are no longer my new landlord. And so the new one, we should have a new relationship. Right. That is atoning tenants.
Will that involve payment of some funds?
Well, so in law, they have stated that it is customary services, so you need to have a relationship with them. I do not know about the repayment of money bit, but in Ghana, when we had a conversation backstage, some people were saying that they live in areas where the owners of the land, they've paid like station backstage. Some people were saying that they live in areas where the owners of the land, they've paid like...
I feel, well, if I have the speakers, they should, boom very, very loudly.
Well, you see, if you're an event center and you want to make noise and harm your health and the health of those who've come to you, make your place soundproof. Right. And all we are saying that those who have not come to your establishment should not be assaulted and their health should not be affected by your noise. Right. If you are driving, would you like your driver to be somebody who hasn't slept because of noise pollution? Maybe that's why we have so many accidents. And our main concern is that we seem to be allergic to enforcement. It's not just when it comes to noise. Right. It comes to building regulations. People build anywhere, mangroves, waterways, and the authorities just watch idly. They do, in most cases, nothing about it. So when we are talking about the environment, we are concerned about the environment, not just about illegal mining, but we're also concerned about air pollution, noise pollution, so that we can all have a clean, green, healthy, and serene environment. There's a reason why we're put in the Garden of Eden, which was, by all description, a peaceful, green place, not a noisy place with boom, boom, boom from dawn to dusk.
And so this statement that you've sent to the Ghana Police Service and by extension the IGP, what's the demand really?
Well, we want, first of all, the IGP, we are respectfully asking that he educates police officers. We've had several instances where residents who are being bombarded with excessive noise. Let's say it's 10 p.m. Right. The EPA will not be open. The assemblies will not be open. The only agency that's open is the police service. They are open 24 hours a day. Right. You go there and then some of the officers will tell you that this is not a criminal offense. They don't seem to be aware of Section 2968 of the Criminal Offences Act. So we want the IGP to educate them. Recently, we had somebody suffering from noise pollution going to Dansoman Police Station. According to him, he gave the name of the officer. I really don't want to call his name out. Right. But he told him that he wouldn't take the complaint. And this is wrong. Somebody is suffering from noise pollution. We don't want to drive people to the state that they will take the law into their own hands. So we want the police, first of all, to be educated that it's a criminal offense, to do something about it, stop the offense from taking place, enforce the laws. That is what we are asking, especially during this festive season where people think it's a lie.
Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's Golo.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's Golo.com. Again, Golo.com.
License to behave anyhow.
And the irony of the case is that all of these events sort of have some level of police protection.
Well, not always. I mean, you have people holding parties in their homes. Yeah. A lot of the nightclubs don't have police protection necessarily. But yes, it is true that you have police officers sometimes passing by, hearing the noise, and it's quite clear that it's excessive and doing nothing about it. But I said it's not just about noise. Sometimes you're driving in town, if I see somebody going through a one-way, and sometimes the police just watch on as if this is something that they can't do anything about. So I keep on saying that we seem to have an allergy when it comes to enforcement, not just noise nuisance laws.
Why do you feel there's this sort of neglect about this issue of noise pollution as compared to, the usual sanitation issues that we have and the other problems that everybody keeps advocating for and, talking about? Why are we not, fixated on the issue of noise pollution and the potential harm it could cause to our health?
Well, first of all, maybe it's a bit of, I don't want to use the word, but maybe a bit of ignorance. Maybe the doctors should be more forceful in letting us know that hearing loss is a bad thing. Not being able to hear what's going on around you, it puts you at a disadvantage.
Right.
But there are worse things that could happen to you. You could have a heart attack. So the doctors should speak out more, because maybe people are ignorant and they sort of think, oh, it's just noise. But the number of people who have complained to us because the relevant authorities are not taking any notice shows that so many people are bothered about noise pollution. And it's about time the authorities did something. But let me say that, and keep on repeating that, it's not just noise pollution. You have building regulations. You're building a house, you're supposed to have a place of convenience. How many houses do we find that don't have any places of convenience? And people use whether plastic bags, whatever, and the inspectors do nothing. You can do an audit, go around houses, and you can find out those that, first of all, don't even have building permits, and then those that don't have places of convenience, and that's causing a real danger to people. But we seem as a country to just look idly by until maybe the person has offended somebody, and then maybe we will come down with the law. But we are saying that enforce laws at all times. The environment is not just about galamsey, it's also about noise and the air that we breathe.
And we need to also point out that this is not the first time you're raising this concern. I think earlier this year there was a similar concern or petition to the IGP. So it's not just a December or a Christmas challenge.
No, it's all year round. And I must say that the IGP did do something about it, because one of the borough commanders called us for a meeting. He had received a circular from the IGP. So some people have been responsive. Others are still not taking it seriously. And what it is that causing a lot of pain to residents. So yes, we commend the IGP. He has started, but there's still a lot of work to do. And we are asking for a dedicated number, just like you have a number for the...
How would you want that work?
Well, we want a number that residents can call. It's 2 a.m., it's 11 p.m., there's noise pollution. We need to be able to call a number, and the response team will come and deal with the situation. Because, it's not something that we should take for granted. All year round, we are bombarded with noise pollution from these establishment churches who seem to think that God is deaf. Some of them are just charlatans, because when you read the Bible, it's the prophets of Baal who are making so much noise. You're praying to God. What is the reasoning for screaming as if God were dead? We're deaf. Just pray and make sure that your noise is not causing offense. Because what you could be doing is putting people off the gospel by the way you behave without showing brotherly love to people who are trying to catch some sleep.
Okay, and once more, let's touch on the issue or the aspect of personal responsibility, because once again, even without the police, that's the fastest way of dealing with all of these challenges. Having respect for your neighbor and just assuming how you also feeling when you are making all of these noise. Do you feel that people are conscious of this, are aware of this, and how do we reverse it?
A lot of people are selfish, and there's a saying that says that people do what you inspect them to do. Yes, there are some people, like I'm sure yourselves, who are law-abiding. You don't need a policeman to do what is right. There are some people who are like that. But you see, mind you, even if there are 10 people and only one person is making noise, that's 1%. That person is going to disturb everybody. Right. So the best way of making sure that people live up to their social responsibility is, for heaven's sake, enforce the laws. Laws are not supposed to decorate statute books. They're supposed to be enforced. And it's not a question of not putting a human face. It's a question of there's a reason why we took the trouble to pass laws, regulations, bylaws, and for heaven's sake, enforce them. The EPA has made several announcements, I think even last year, that they were going to patrol and so on and so forth. We don't really know what came out of it, because those who are suffering are still suffering. We need the EPA to tell us what happens to complaints that are made. When they have the enforcement, what exactly are they enforcing? Because people are fed up. People are dreading this.
And speaking of the EPA, what more should be expected of them this period, knowing that this is also a Christmas or a festive season where a lot more of the concern you're raising will come up? We've not seen any policy lineup or program that seeks to suggest that they will be doing something about noise pollution in these times.
Well, I know that the EPA head made some pronouncements a few months ago about asking the communities to work together with them regarding pollution, including noise pollution. But for that to happen, they need to know that when they make complaints, the complaints are taken seriously. I've got so many instances, again, I don't want to put it on air, where the enforcement team has been called, specific persons have been called, and they have done absolutely nothing according to the reports I've written. I also have my own complaints. Right. So what we are saying is that the EPA should rise up to its responsibilities. Noise pollution is a criminal offense. The EPA has a mandate to deal with noise pollution. For instance, before you set up a church or these establishments, there's supposed to be an environmental assessment. So once you haven't done that, you are operating unlawfully. Half of these churches and establishments or event centers don't even have licenses. The EPA could close them down. I mean, the EPA has teeth. They need to let Ghanaians know that they are serious about enforcing regulations, not only on noise, but all the regulations that they are able to
But in some areas, the difficulty about planning and layout of the community, when you go to some of the residential areas, obviously, you could easily identify the source of the noise or isolate the area and then, get the culprit. But that would not be possible, close to impossible in some, close to impossible in some of the communities, in layouts that have, you might want to call them slums. It would be a challenge identifying the culprits in those areas.
Well, you see, where there's a will, there's always a way. And even in the areas where there's no challenge, again, next time I come, I'll name and shame. Right. But in this particular case, I'm not doing that. Right. There are establishments in Laboni, in so many different Jawulu, so many different areas where the culprits are clear. Yeah. The establishments are clear. Complaints have been made. The only thing that needs to be done is action taken, and no action is being taken. The complainants just keep complaining, and the relevant authorities, whether the assemblies, the EPA, do absolutely nothing. They warn the noisemakers. Warning them is not enough. You can close them down. Once you close them down, others will begin to understand that Ghana is a country where laws are enforced. But as it says, it seems like you can do exactly what you want to do once you're well connected.
We need to go. If there's anything our audience need to know about noise pollution and perhaps the leadership of the Ghana Police Service, what would you want to leave everyone with?
Noise pollution harms your health and also reduces productivity. Do not tolerate it. Make the complaints. If it needs eventually taking individuals to court for dereliction of duty, so be it. But please do not tolerate damage to your health. Noise pollution damages our health. And we appeal to the IGP to educate officers, let them know that noise pollution is a criminal offense, and let us have a dedicated number that we can call when there's noise pollution. Thank you.
And that's Awula Sawa, National Coordinator for the Eco-Conscious Citizens, joining us here on The Pulse. But it's time to talk politics. The National Democratic Congress is committing to instituting some regulations that will enhance and also enable chiefs participate in the protection of forests in the country. Now, flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, explains that the present order where the Forestry Commission has absolute responsibility has proven ineffective. According to him, there is the need for stringent measures to protect the remaining 18 out of 37 forest reserves. The former president is on a tour of the Western North region. Nana Ajima has been following.
The Building Ghana tour by John Mahama was well received by the people of the Western region. After a meeting with party officials, the former president made a stop at the Rioso Palace to pay a courtesy call on the traditional authority. Chief of Rioso, Katechi Kwesi Bumangama II, bemoaned the fast depletion of forests.
Aneno, na kwaye no, esha ahimfonsa. Ene di forestry yibaye, ana forest no agu. Say ye forest agu. Yes, ye were forest officers. Our mojo kwaye. Oman for mo amam krankeye. Enti ende President Oba, unya kwaye bia mfa enka wasemu say ye wo kwaye. Ye ni kwaye. Kakra no so aka no so omugusu se no. Ntim de masem hia me say Oba no. Sa no man am pese wo address my.
The Western North region hosts some of Ghana's rich forest reserves, but illegal logging and irresponsible mining are causing a fast depletion of the forests. Mr. Mahama, who is alarmed at the devastation, is proposing legislation that will give traditional authorities some supervision over forest reserves.
Yaba, ya pese ye ne nananom etenase. Ne hwe se ne betimi aye aboho ban. Minim se forest ne adwuma mo hwe so. But I was here to meet him maybe beba nananom any forest for no and be was to be no se omo hwe kwaye no so. Em say yes sir ebema yetimi abo kwaye no ho ban chen se aban adwuma enfo kwa na ehwe. Eto de bia omo ankasa ene omo say kwaye no na ye Canada ekotwa ndua no anaso omko 2 gold ewo.
The traditional authority expressed worry at the waning power of traditional office. He wants the next NDC government to restore lost authority.
Politicians no maji 2 million free and some. Maji 2 million free and some. Say ati ya ni ahodin bia. Enne ye be sama obi kura wa himfie. Otimi chama nim ka je ye mfa men kokot. Na kan ne no ntimi nkansa. Nti say ye wura so samba bi mo dia. Ye ko National House of Chiefs na ye ka. And on some for you 2 million my on for you 2 million my. I saw the 2 million my idea, and they are him for about the dinner.
The former president responded to the request at a town hall meeting later in the day.
Say about our constitutional review now, yes, no. You bet to us so. Now say your friend Nipadudona a him for back home. Na yen na be kire adwen em say ho e na asema okayi e wo say yechim constitution no na yetimi de shem if you say de shem a obi ntimi ko Supreme Court enko ka say de bi ohenin ni kwan say obefra me na bibi say o constitution mu de a ene e kire say oman ni na na age atum.
The tour of the Western North region continues on Thursday. For Joy News, Nana Ochima, Western North region.
And in the Ashanti region, Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei Edu-Chum has touted his achievement of his ministry in placing some 95% of the 2023 junior high school graduates into various senior high schools, despite challenges encountered during the school placement process. According to the minister, 81% of students were automatically placed into their selected schools, with 19% depending on self-placement. Addressing the press after giving an account of his achievement to the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs General Meeting, the minister indicated that the enrollment made this year has become the highest recorded in over the last few years. Nana Yao Kwachi Adam has the rest of the story.
The last general meeting of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, chaired by the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, invited the Education Minister Osei Edu-Chum to give an account of government's achievements in the sector. Several issues were addressed by the minister, including challenges with the 2023 SHS placement. Admitting to the challenges, the Education Minister, Dr. Osei Edu-Chum, says 95% of JHS graduates have been successfully placed into various schools, the highest in history.
We've had a great opportunity of boosting the placement of students. You know, over the years, when you do the release, you may have about 30% of students not getting a school, and they have to go to the self-placement portal to look for a school. This year, we were able to do 81% automatic placement. These are students who received the schools of their choice, and then we're only left with about 19% of students who have to go to the portal and look for a school. So there has been a vast improvement. In fact, we've been able to place 95% of all the students who qualified to be placed, a major accomplishment this year.
According to him, the government is committed to improving the educational sector.
We have new high schools under construction, science labs have been built in existing schools. Our WASI scores across the country we know has improved under under Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, literacy rate, which used to be 2% for primary 2 students in 2015, is now 38%. There's no doubt that we're seeing a major transformation. STEM education has been given a great boost.
The Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, however, charged chiefs to inspect the educational infrastructure and its progress in their communities.
English and mathematics were computerized
The minister has explained everything to us, including the issues concerning the school placement. He has said a lot. What we have to do as chiefs is to also inspect the infrastructural projects in our communities. It is our duty to do so.
So one particular thing that came up during the meeting with the education minister is the whole conversation surrounding the cancellation of the teacher licential exam, which was brought up by the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama. Well, the Asantehene was quite particular about this whole conversation surrounding the cancellation of the teacher licential examination. The education minister highlighted the importance of this whole teacher licential examination. He calls for a non-partisan dialogue in addressing the concerns. From the National House of Chiefs Auditorium, my name is Nana Boachi Dankwa Iyadom, Kumasi.
And now to our Tech Thursday, where occasional disputes between customers and bus conductors over transport fares is a commonplace in Ghana. Fortunately, an electronic payment system seeks to avert the situation. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Clinton Yabua explores the innovation that could be the arbitration of transport fares and the disputes.
In Ghana, taxis and trotros are important means of transportation for about 60% of the traveling public. Inaccurate charges and disagreement over defaced notes arise from the traditional method of paying transportation fares with cash. The tap and hop technology is reshaping this narrative with electronic payment solutions, offering an efficient alternative. The point-of-sale device installed in a taxi or trotro goes with a corresponding e-switch-like card to activate transactions electronically. Passengers are assigned to a special card. The card is loaded with money from mobile money through the Tap and Hop app. Emmanuel Arthur is a front-end engineer at Tap and Hop.
Then when you go into the car, you just tap on, so it starts your journey, and then it records the GPS location of where you start your journey, and then also when you get to your destination, it records the GPS there. It calculates the exact fare that you used to pay using your cash, then you pay through the card. So the convenient way is that you first load your card through maybe mobile money or bank account. So the card, your money gets sent to the card. So when you tap on, it records your journey. Then when you get off, it deducts the exact money from your card. So when you get in and you don't have money on the card, when you get in and tap on, it will show you that something went wrong or you don't have insufficient balance in your card. So this is one thing that if you don't have money on the card, it will show you. But if you have money, when you tap on, it records you start your journey. Then after that, when you get to the place that you're going, you get to deduct the exact transfer of the commute that you've done. This came as a force to drive the digitalization age, where we have witnessed that digitalization is being the driving force for every nation. So this is an initiative to also help bridge the gap between the Western world and ours. Right? So we brought up this initiative just to also provide the assistance for traveling issues, where a passenger or a driver will be having issues commuting their journeys. One, you don't have to hold money so that maybe somebody can take the money away from you, and also two, to provide assistance that maybe you don't have smaller denomination of the cards, all right, so that you avoid the go back and forth of you and the mates having issues. That also will solve that problem. and also it also provide the assistance for the drivers to also have the easy way to collect their money, because you don't have to go back and forth with the passenger to get your money. Sometimes, even though some passengers will also run away with their money where you don't get access to know. So this initiative will also solve the problem of getting back your money when they run away. So whenever they board a car again, the money will be deducted and will be sent to you, the driver, as well.
Again, the device ensures passengers' safety and protection of passengers' personal items.
When you get your items lost in a car, or like when a car takes your items away, you will get the chance to also call the driver, because you have the driver details in the app. So when you go to the app, you find the driver that you bought the car, then you take the driver information, call the driver, say something has been lost in your car, then you retrieve your things back. So that's also one easy way.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton.
And up north, the people of Nakpaili, a farming community in the Nanumba South District of the Northern Region, have heaved a sigh of relief following the construction of an ultra-modern maternity ward for the only health facility in the community to support the expectant mothers actually during delivery. Prior to the construction of the maternity ward, the expectant mothers in the community used to travel to very far communities such as Wolensi and Bimbila to access healthcare delivery. We have more in this following report.
The construction of this maternity block is to provide emergency obstetric care for about 30 communities within the Nanumba South District of the Northern Region. The aim of the facility is to improve accessibility to skilled care and thus reduce morbidity and mortality for mothers and neonates. The Abuya Foundation, the organization that constructed that ward, conducted some studies and obtained report of positive impact on the outcome for women and their newborns. Alhaji Aminu Idrisu is the Chief Executive Officer of the Abuya Group.
But what informed the maternity was that when we were commissioning the mosque somewhere last year by this time, the community already, they were not having a maternity. So if a woman is giving birth, they have to send the woman to Bimbila or Wulesi. And then by so doing, some people will deliver on the way, some people will deliver and have complications and all those things. And then, and during the commissioning of the mosque, I've realized that one of our guys' wives were rushed to Bimbila for delivery, which they informed me during the distance. So I pray to God that God should help us to get the maternity.
The midwife at the facility, Jennifer Akuto, explained the impact the maternity ward would make in the beneficiary communities.
When I came here 2021, because the place, our delivery room, we have only 2 beds for the delivery, and our catchment area is large. So when the ladies comes like that, because the beds are only 2, we are not able to accommodate all of them. Sometimes we have to conduct deliveries on the floor because there's no enough beds for us to. And after delivery, we have only 2 beds that is our lie-in, that they can come and lie, and then we'll monitor them for the 6 hours. So because the beds are only 2, we are not able to monitor our postpartum mothers after delivery up to the 6 hours. So sometimes when they deliver and you monitor them 2-3 hours, you have to let them go and give space for the others that are to deliver.
National Chairman of Opposition NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who was one of the dignitaries who graced the occasion, lauded the CEO of Abuya Group, Alhaji Aminu Idrisu, for using the corporate social responsibility arm of his companies, Abuya Foundation, to touch lives.
We heard about the story of Alhaji Abuya, beginning from the construction of a school for his community. Then he followed to construct a mosque, that is a prayer house. And today, he has completed a maternity ward, which signifies the beginning of life. So all the 3 key projects are projects that have been carefully selected. And I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart.
The chances of women dying because of complications of pregnancy and childbirth are still high in many parts of Ghana and around the world. With the construction of this ward, the story of these communities is about to change for the better. For Joy News, Samuel Kojo Brace, Nanumba South District, Northern Region.
And authorities at the Kintampo College of Health and Wellbeing are appealing to government to help upgrade the school into a university status. Speaking at the 8th graduation ceremony of the school, Health Minister Kwaku Agyeman-Manu indicated that all necessary documentations have been carried out to facilitate the upgrade, and government remains committed towards improving health education. And Asabit has the rest of the story.
It is the 8th graduation ceremony of the Kintampo College of Health and Wellbeing, an institution established in the year 1969 with a mandate to train middle-level health professionals to provide quality and comprehensive health care to the populace, especially those living in the rural and underserved communities. The school today runs 15 undergraduate and certificate programs and can boast of a student population of 6,480. Director of the college, Dr. Kwabena Opoku Edusei, in his address said despite the school's efforts towards achieving the school's vision of becoming a world-class health university that responds to the health needs of communities, the lack of adequate infrastructure continued to be a major challenge for the school.
Now, some of the things that we request are physical infrastructure, halls of residence, lecture halls and teaching aids and equipment, staff accommodation, completion of the abandoned Get Fund project, which was supposed to house 400 students. And then we also request for upgrade of Kintampo Municipal Hospital into a teaching hospital level. We also need transport, human resource, adequate staff of all categories, as well as staff faculty development. Part-time lecturers have become very expensive.
He further appealed to government to allocate resources to the school to enable them execute their mandate.
The ministry is developing conditional service documents. I hope that our unique school will be given unique cover because we are unique. And just to remind all of us that we are not a nursing and midwifery school. We are unique, and that must be taken into account in all other resource allocations and other issues that come to the headquarters.
Chairman of the occasion and paramount chief of the Nkranza traditional area, Nana Kwame Bafo IV, made a special appeal to government to convert the college into a university status and advise the graduates to prepare towards the realities of life after school, adding that they'll have to go the extra mile to be able to deliver efficiently.
Ladies and gentlemen, health training institutions such as the Kintampo College of Health and Wellbeing play a no mean role in the healthcare delivery in this country. And it is important that we position to fulfill their mandate. The college has a history of excellent outcomes in the training of health personnel for the country, and I want to make an appeal to the government to consider upgrading it to a fully fledged university to train the needed professionals with the needed skills and capabilities within the middle belt of our country.
Special guest of honor who doubles as the Minister for Health and MP for Doma Central, Kwaku Agyeman-Manu, reiterated government's commitment towards upgrading the institution into a university status.
And it will facilitate teaching and learning in the college. We're looking for it to upgrade to university status. We haven't completed the process yet, but I know gradually we will get there. This is an old school, very large facility. Houses close to over 5,000 students, and I believe this is the way we should go.
The 8th graduation ceremony of the Kintampo College of Health and Wellbeing was held under the theme, Achieving Good Health and Wellbeing for All, the need to upgrade the college to a university status. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Kintampo.
And back here, friends and families of the late astute lawyer Akoto Ampah are reliving memories of his life, as some describe him as a man of principle and diligence who lived for the good of others. In less than 24 hours to his burial, friends and families of the late lawyer Akoto Ampah gathered to relive his fond memories. The remembrance service, which took place at the National Theatre last night, saw tributes from many who described the lawyer as a man of principle who lived his life for the good of others. My colleague James Aveji was at the event.
Born Anthony Yao Akoto Ampah in 1950 in Lodobi, Sheshe, as he was later called in life, was one of a generation who cut the niche for himself in the practice of law. Lawyer Akoto Ampah, in his 73-year life journey, was a man of many parts, an accomplished lawyer, political and human rights activist, a footballer, music lover, and many others. His political activism started in his days at the University of Ghana, where he joined the National Affairs Discussion Group in 1979, a group which later evolved into the New Democratic Movement and later joined Jerry John Rawlings's PNDC for the 31st December Revolution in 1981. For a man who was loved by many, friends and family have gathered here at the National Theatre to painfully relive some fond memories they hold of him 2 days to his burial. Professor Sowa Mensah was one of his roommates at the University of Ghana.
When in the early 70s, some of us, the close friends, through sports, made sure that our lectures ended by 2 p.m. because we had to start with table tennis and then go to soccer and go to the athletic field and go to basketball. If we went to basketball, we come back, take showers, do whatever we needed to do. 10:30 p.m. we meet in Shay's room, and we could be there till 2 in the morning. Shay was a very, very good musician. His musical skills were way above average. Shay played guitar, and in our group, we never performed outside. We just played in Shay's room. We'd play Crosby, Stills and Nash, Simon and Garfunkel. We'd listen to Led Zeppelin, and so many other musicians. He was a very accomplished guitarist. One of the things we did was to go to parties. And you've heard a lot about him partying. But we didn't know what the parties were. All we needed was somewhere in North Carnation, there was a party going on a Saturday night. And we moved from campus, about 6, 7, or 8. And we were doing the gospel according to the sound. We'll walk around North Carnation with our ears open, listening for where the party sound is coming from. We always found the party place, but sometimes it took about 2 hours of walking to find where the party is.
Comrade and close ally to lawyer Ampah, Kwesi Pratt Jr. says he was the fine brain behind most of the alota that caused positive change in the early days.
And indeed, my witness is Akunu Dake. We were then publishing things that would be considered subversive in those days, and we needed to find a place to print them. And we had this old Stacrostalin machine. And we decided to put that machine in the boys' quarters of Akunu Dake for good reason. Because he was still a public servant and publicly perceived to be loyal to the regime. Nobody was going to his house to search and find the things that we were doing. And it was Sheshe's brilliant idea that this old Stacrostalin machine should be planted in Akunu Dake's boys' quarters. And Sheshe, unlike other leaders, would spend the whole night from about 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., just rolling the machine. Never got tired. The other thing about Sheshe, which is also extremely remarkable, is that he never got tired. So we would meet up to about midnight, and then in the morning by 9 a.m., Sheshe's statement, embodying all the things that we had been discussing the night before, will be ready before us. I can again say that in spite of the information which is available in the public about who did what and so on, Sheshe was the engine of Alliance for Change. Again, he wrote more than 90% of all the statements we issued, including those who were read by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Fondled her memory and love like a long-lost and now newfound heirloom worth the premium value of my soul.
Sheshe was a man who close relatives say knew how to make time for friends and family, and his special fufu and ibunubunu delicacy despite the load of work. Princess Fatia Nkrumah described him as an uncle whose love for them shone brightest in their darkest moments.
In the whirlwind of his workaholic life, Uncle Shay still found time to be present for each and every one of us. Whether it was birthdays, naming ceremonies, graduation, award presentation, he never missed an opportunity to celebrate with us. But it was in our darkest hours that his love for us shone brightest. It was in those moments he could be found by our side, soothing our fears and assuring us that the strength that we had within us was far greater than any obstacle the world could throw our way.
Lawyer Akoto Ampaw was also a member of the legal team who stood in Akufo-Addo's corner in the 2012 and 2020 election petitions.
And I'm putting it to you further that you are not, the petitioner is not entitled to any of the reliefs that he seeks. And you have no case worthy of hearing before this court. My Lord, I'm done.
Partner and head of chambers at the Akufo-Addo & Co., where Akoto Ampaw practiced for many years, Alex Queno recounts his contribution to the success of the chamber.
He actually gave his work to some of us who were about 10 years in age junior, but who happened to be seniors, to vet his work. But soon he was the person to go to, the junior lawyers in particular, to take their work to him to vet, because he will research it. He will not accept anything that you just put on paper. In fact, the juniors in the office, they were always wondering when you'll be a rich man. Because pro bono was his mainstay. It's strange to say this. Pro bono work was Mr. Akoto Ampaw's mainstay. Not charging fees. He didn't know how to charge. Let's put it this way. He didn't know how to charge. So he would just say, "I'll take it."
Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Tokonu describes him as one who had impacted most lawyers in the legal fraternity.
As a lawyer in the courtroom, his processes were always well researched, well articulated, and relevant. Even in the shortest application, when Mr. Akoto Ampaw spoke, there was good reason to speak, and what he said added to the proceedings. His work had absolute integrity, and his citations could be relied on.
In his human rights activism, many were not happy with him when he took stance against the passage of the anti-LGBTQI+ bill.
What is dangerous about this bill is that one single bill somehow manages to breach almost all the fundamental human rights guaranteed under the Constitution.
But He was one of those who played instrumental role in the passage of the RTI bill into law. For the many who have gathered here to remember lawyer Yao Anthony Akoto Ampao, all they wish is that Sheshe journeys yonder world. From the National Theatre here in Accra, my name is James Abeji for Joy News.
But when we are done, may our footprints inspire many more who come after us.
And we say, may his soul rest in perfect peace. But that's all we have for you here on the Pulse on the Joy News channel. I'm blessed to log on to myjoyonline.com. More stories there for you. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.
Hello there, you're welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz here on the Joy News channel. My name is Doreen Avio, and it's always a pleasure to bring you everything in your world of showbiz. Well, a lot happened over the weekend, and definitely I'm here to bring that to you. So just sit down, relax, as we take the stories one after the other right here on Let's Talk Showbiz. If you're just joining me, this is Let's Talk Showbiz. My name is Doreen Avio, and we're starting with the annual Stars in Worship concert. Now, if you realize, for some time now, looks like literally every weekend there are concerts, there are events all over the place, and that's because we're in the month of December. This is what we do in the month of December. So if you hear it, if you can go, go. If you can't go, we will go and bring it to you. So the annual Stars in Worship concert happened at the House of Miracle Church. And, you know, sometimes you see certain people and you're not sure if, you know, you can connect with them when it comes to that side of things. But here they are. They were there. Akwaba was there. Kofi Osupupra was there. We also have SP Kofi Sapon. Quite a number of people. I mean, I saw some George there as well. Quite a number of people were there. It was beautiful, and while our cameras were there, we captured everything for you since you were not able to go there. So let's just check it out.
by the grace of God, I see Stars of Worship as a very powerful program. And I believe God, in His own might, in His own grace, has given us